What do you think about that? Like, the Juju stroll there. Like, I've asked some people, and they're all like, oh, that's disgusting. My only reason for thinking it could work is because ramen broth kind of, like, actual, like correctly made ramen has, like, a milky feel, I guess, like, in texture, I guess, like, the thickness, you know what I mean? So water doesn't really give it that.
So, I don't know enough about how to make ramen, but I think I'm not even gonna say I know anything about ramen. I would say I feel like it works, and I feel like it probably tastes good, but, like, the only thing that holds me back is not about it being milk.
Yeah.
But, like, about it being milk, because I'm lactose intolerant. So
yeah.
I'm like, ugh, why would I put milk in ramen? Bleh, you know?
Yeah.
That would really make me regret it the next day. They were like, you always regret late night ramen the next day. I'd be like, yeah, if you're allergic to milk, you would. Mm-hmm.
So, what'd you think of the episode?
So this female jujutsu sorcerer episode, I wanted to cry. I was really into what Momo was saying to Nobara. I was really into that conversation they were having. And kind of like Momo's take on it as well as Nobara's. I think they both like said some valid things. Like obviously Momo was speaking purely on she was upset at the box that other people were putting her in, that she needed to be this perfection. She needed to both be cute and strong, and that's why that's the hardship.
Yeah.
But like Nobara was like, I don't even care about the box. The box doesn't matter to me. And what's interesting is the parallel between Nobara and Maki, and probably why they get along so well, is both of them are focused on making themselves happy.
Yeah.
Like Maki at the end says that the reason she left is she knew she wouldn't be able to be happy with herself if she had stayed. And then Nobara was like, I'm happy with myself. I like myself when I'm dressed up. I like myself when I do cool, strong things. Like, I love myself. And I was just like, wow, I love them so much. I want to be friends with them. But like also what Momo was saying was so relatable too, because obviously she was purely focused on the pressure and not focused on like, what does she even like about herself? What does she like about herself?
Yeah. Like,
is she just being cute because that's what's expected of her, or does she actually like cute things? I don't know.
I mean, I like her I like her as a character. Her perspective of it, I could see being valid for a lot of people, or a lot of people perceive that to be valid, you know? Like, it's not enough to just be strong. It's not enough to be a Toto. You need to be cute as well. You need to be perfection as a woman in this world. Like, but, like how you just said, Nobara's like, screw that. Like, I'm gonna live my best life. I like when I'm cute and dolled up and I feel good about myself, but I also like kicking ass, dude.
Yeah.
Like...
and like, I love, in these last couple episodes, it's been really cool when characters bring up, like, how they have to switch their technique slightly so they don't actually kill the person.
Yeah.
And I haven't been hearing the Kyoto school people saying that.
Well,
internal dialogue.
Mai did this episode. She hit Nobara with a rubber bullet.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I meant, like, more in battle, like, the people that were actually battling. Like, I didn't... Wait, no, Momo did say it. Never mind. Scratch everything I just said. I just realized multiple people from both sides have internal dialogue.
You're right in the sense that they didn't say that about Itadori.
Yeah. So Momo couldn't use her broom to the fullest because she could have killed Nobara, and then Nobara pulled out the frickin' squeaky hammer.
That was so cute.
What? Like, I was like, is this like an actual
badass.
like cursed tool, or did she just get a squeaky hammer? Like, what is happening? Because I guess her hammer isn't necessarily a cursed tool. It's just a tool she uses with her cursed technique. I don't really know. It's hard to understand because I know Maki has these specific weapons.
She has no cursed energy. That's a kind of... We could have guessed it, I guess, from last episode or previous, but like it was spelled out for us that Maki was born with a heavenly pact. Like Mechimura was, Maki was as well.
And both of them are trying to basically be the best Jujutsu sorcerers they can be despite that.
I mean, out of the two of them, I think like, I would rather be Maki
I mean, well,
than Makamaru.
Obviously, Maki, somehow they invented glasses that Maki can see curses. Of course you'd rather be Maki.
But obviously Maki's, like, upbringing fucking sucked, man. And, like, what she's going through now, like, from the beginning of the episode, like, we saw, Miwa being, like, how is she 4th grade? Like, how is she, like, a 4th grade sorcerer? She could easily be defeating grade 2.
And that crow lady was like, well, it's all about money. And I was like, oh my god, I hate you. And she was obviously, oh, the crow, oh, who knows, animals, you know? That's why we can't see Yuji right now. Sorry, animals. Crows aren't perfect.
It seemed like that was her, like, technique. Yeah?
Yeah, she was obviously just not showing what was going on because she knew about the plan to kill him and/or was thinking that was the case. I 100% think that she was paid off because he was like, oh, would you do anything for money, right? And she was like, yeah. And then Gojo kind of looked over at the old man. I'm like, she was obviously paid. They were probably like, hey, if anything happens to Itadori, just don't show it, okay? And she was like, how much money? And they were like, here's some money. And she was like, cool, animals. They have issues sometimes. Can't see it. Sorry.
Yeah.
She was in the intro.
Yeah.
Standing on top of a building. I think there were crows. I don't remember exactly, but I think there were crows.
Construction. That's an ability that Mai is able to use, right? It
kind of sucks that she only has a 1 bullet a day limit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big... honestly, kudos to her. How
did Maki catch it?
It's Maki's next level,
like,
bro.
ouch.
Maki's insane. Like, it was like right there, and then she just snagged it.
I didn't realize that Maki had this, like, it's almost like she's in an Itadori way. They both have this exceptional, like, human strength without cursed energy involved.
But Itadori at least gets to use cursed energy.
Yeah. But I guess that's why she could catch the bullet and nothing happened to her, because I feel like if Itadori was in the same position, he probably could have caught it too. Don't quote me on that. Feel like maybe he could have, though.
If Maki had that power too, she'd be one.
She'd be with Todo.
She'd be up there, man. She'd be Itadori. She'd be Todo.
Didn't they want to move her to 2? Is that what they've been trying to petition for?
I think they're just trying to move her up in general. And if she does well enough in this event, then her name will get around, so it'll be harder for the Zenin clan
I think, the elder, the leader of the Zenin clan, said to her that he would put a lot of stuff in her way to getting there.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe he's just waiting for her to prove it to him. Or maybe he just said that as like a lofty thing of, oh, it's gonna be hard, to try to maybe like make her feel like it's never gonna happen. And maybe he never had the intention of letting her succeed at all.
I think that, like, that's how it came off to me. I'm like, fuck this dude. He is just trying to be...
I got, like, hopeful that maybe,
asshole.
like, he was putting these trials in front of her. But I was purely just hopeful on, like, the language he was saying. I was like, maybe he's just being harsh. And he knows that since she has this, like, handicap almost, that she doesn't have cursed energy, that maybe he thinks she needs to be pushed one step further.
That's not how I received
I guess
it.
that's probably not the case, because I think they have an older brother. Because when the people were whispering, they were like, oh, the brother's gonna have to be, eldest son's gonna have to be a servant. That sucks.
Well, no. Okay, you could be right there too. I don't know the answer. I took that as like at least one of them weren't a guy, because if they were, then they would have to be a servant.
Oh.
You know? And the clan leader, she's like, he's the one who's, in my mind, making the rules, or like at least upholding the rules of like having girls are automatically start at the ground floor if they're born with cursed energy and powerful. But now that Maki wasn't, she is just non-existent to them. And even though that she's strong, they're so steadfast and ignorant in their beliefs that they're not going to change anything.
It's just annoying. Like, she left your house. Like, stop. Like, why are you trying to make it so she... Like, I don't get it. Like, it shows that... I mean, like, we keep seeing examples of them literally not caring about actually having strong, capable people.
There's this whole, inner political aspect of it.
And it's like, this is nonsense. you're all supposedly have these powers and for the good of humanity are trying to destroy curses.
Yeah.
And then you're also trying to destroy other strong sorcerers. Like, that's just nonsense to me. And it's really gross.
The animation in this episode was so cool, dude.
I feel bad for Miwa, though I'm glad that Maki was able to defeat her. And
sword
her
stealing.
face when her sword was stolen. Oh my gosh.
So good.
I think I don't remember her name. The person that's Gojo for the other school. With the scar on her face.
Yeah.
I feel like she's a really good person.
Utahime, I think.
I have a feeling that she's I think Gojo trusts her. I feel like she's a good person.
I think Gojo teases her just to tease her, you know?
Yeah, no, I think he trusts her and he likes her, but he teases her because that's just their like relationship or whatever. But I think that she is one of the trustworthy adults in this situation, in this
feel that.
Story.
I mean, Gojo trusted her enough to say, what did he say to her?
I think he told her about did he tell her about the plan?
I
That he
think
thinks
so.
they're going to try to kill Itadori?
Or something. I don't want to reiterate what happened, fearful that you don't know something yet.
Oh.
Or fearful that he didn't say something. I think he did. I just am being extra cautious. God.
Interesting.
Doesn't Maki look like a badass in the flashbacks too? With
it
her
seems
like
Maki's always kind of been very strong-willed. Not
Yeah.
just strong in like physical human capabilities, but like really strong-willed. And like obviously, I don't think that's purely because of her circumstances or purely because she couldn't see curses and she doesn't know fear. I think that's just because that was her personality. Like, she's just really strong-willed.
Yeah.
And it seems like to hear Mai be like, I didn't even want to do this, I was like,
it broke that whole scene was like breaking my heart, dude.
I thought I was shocked that she even admitted that. I mean, you saw in that last scene, like, it's like they went from these like enemies that never knew each other, or like, oh, are they even sisters, to like she's breaking down in front of her sister again because that's her sister and she wants to be honest with her sister.
Like, I feel like maybe I'm giving her Mai too much credit, but I feel like she knows the answer to like, why wouldn't you stay at the bottom with me? Or she wouldn't have phrased it the way that she did. She's like acknowledging the fact they would be at the bottom, but at least they'd be together, kind of thing. And like,
you can't force someone to. The thing is, Mai could have been happy. Not like, okay, so Maki couldn't be happy at the bottom, so Maki went off to do what she needed to do.
Yeah.
But like, Mai also could have left, right? Maybe not with Maki, because Maki might have been against Mai leaving in general, but she didn't need to stay there at the bottom because Maki was able to leave. Maki relinquished the name, basically, was disowned by the family and left, and she's happy. She went to the other school. She's still trying to be Jujutsu sorcerer. Like, how come Mai couldn't have also left? Why?
I mean, she did.
Huh?
No? Like, what was Mai's job before being a Jujutsu sorcerer? A servant, right? Mm-hmm. What is she now?
A Jujutsu sorcerer?
Just like her sister, who also left.
Yeah, but she didn't leave. She's trying to push herself further to be a Jujutsu sorcerer. Because that's what the family placed on her. She has to prove herself.
I'm pretty sure the family just wanted her to be a servant.
And now she has to put all this effort in because Maki was putting all that effort in.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's only because the families told her that, like, as the twin, she needed to come out on top of Maki. So, because they couldn't have Maki being stronger than Mai, you know, in the family. I feel like that's the only reason she's not a servant, is because Maki left. They were like, that'd be too embarrassing for us if Maki was stronger than our clan member that stayed, that actually has cursed energy.
Well, like, I guess it was just like the conversation, right? Like, why did you leave the clan? And then Maki asks, like, you joined Jujutsu High yourself, right? I never wanted to be a Jujutsu sorcerer.
I guess Maki was just thinking that Mai only became a Jujutsu sorcerer because she wanted to.
Yeah.
So I guess Maki learned a little bit about Mai there.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping for some sisterly,
Well, it sucks because, like, obviously, I don't think Maki has done anything wrong
No.
by trying to follow her path, but Mai just living with like Maki at the bottom would have made her happy. And I'm like, well, Maki didn't do anything wrong, but this is what Mai wanted too. So it's like, it's a sucky situation, man.
So I'm like, if all Mai actually wants is just to be able to be with her sister, do that.
Yeah. I get you. I agree with you. It's a compelling story nonetheless, though.
It seems more like her hatred for Maki even leaving to begin with is what's clouded the fact that she even had options other than getting back at Maki and fighting Maki and becoming a jujutsu sorcerer, because that's what Maki wanted, and she's gonna beat Maki because she hates Maki. It's like if she had just like forgot that like you don't actually hate her, you just really want to be with her, maybe you should actually try to think of ways that you can go be with your sister instead of like hating her and forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do because of that.
Very true, but like she had this flashback of her being like, Maki, you're never gonna leave, right? And then Maki was like, I'm not gonna leave you behind, you know, kind of thing. Of course I won't leave you behind. So like, we're sisters, and then her sister left her, so it's like, why would she want to go after her sister?
That's true.
If her sister is the one who like made her this promise and then betrayed it.
I wonder if Maki has any like, I wish we could hear some internal dialogue of how Maki views Mai.
Yeah,
because I feel like at this moment we know how Mai views Maki, but like, why didn't Maki think about, we didn't hear any internal dialogue of Maki being like, oh, I'm leaving Mai behind. We just saw Maki leave.
And then say, like, even though that the clan leader, like, straight up said that this is going to affect Mai, she was like, she wasn't like, fuck Mai. She was like, this has nothing to do with her. She didn't put up more of a fight than that, but she at least acknowledged that he shouldn't negatively affect Mai, you know? Because, like, I'll put you through ordeals befitting of that, trying to overtake the clan leader. And Maki's like, do it, I don't care. And then he's like, I'm gonna do it to Mai too, and that stops her, you know? Mm-hmm. She's like...
and her shoulders even moved.
Yeah.
She obviously didn't like him saying that.
She has nothing to do with this.
But it's like here, it's almost like she was faced with this, like, he's basically threatening me that if I don't stay and put myself through something I don't want to do and be somewhere I don't want to be, then he's gonna, like, hurt my sister in some way. She's like... She doesn't like that bargaining chip that he's using there. He's basically using Mai as like are you sure you want to leave Mai behind?
Yeah.
Bad things could happen to her. And that's so messed up.
And then she leaves and said that this has nothing to do with her, and Mai's like, liar, because it does, because it's going to directly affect what's going to happen to Mai, you know, Maki leaving. Also, Maki's a liar for leaving and leaving her behind, right? It's so cool.
So I want to know what Maki's thinking.
Me too.
What is Maki thinking anything internally about how maybe she has these grand plans that once she's able to take over the clan, like her and her sister can be together again and they won't have to deal with all of that or whatever. I don't know.
It's so
Maybe
cool.
Maybe she's not thinking about it at all, because I can't diss her for thinking about making herself happy.
Yeah.
So it's a tough situation, because, like, I'm not going to tell Maki, you should have stayed at that house.
And made yourself
that gross
unhappy.
Old man that was mean and gross. Like, I'm not going to tell her that, because obviously she did what she needed to do to make her happy. But obviously, that just, like, I feel bad for Mai, but I'm also, like, I can't fault Maki on this.
Yeah, I know.
Maki made a big decision. Maki made a really hard, big decision that was really probably stressful and hard to do. And she had to go through a lot of hoops, probably once she got out of the family even. Mm-hmm. And she put herself through that for her own happiness. So I'm like, I can't fault her for that, because obviously Mai could also put herself through some hoops for her own happiness, and she can't just expect that Maki do things for her happiness. Mm-hmm. I guess she was hoping that Maki's happiness would be the same as hers.
Yeah. It's so compelling. It's a sucky situation. It's so compelling. I love that I can feel this much and talk this much about this situation when out of 17 episodes, we've only gotten like an episode on it. Like we've gotten like no time for this story in regards to how many episodes we've had, because this isn't what the series is about, but it's such a good story. It's so interesting.
I was actually really shocked to learn exactly how strong Maki is. And by the chart that Panda had upset me about it, because I was like, dang, poor
It's not about
Maki, like
strength.
she's really like trying, you
Yeah.
know, like is she really that low? And then to learn that she's not actually that low, and then she literally just beat Niwa and Mai in probably like 30 minutes. I don't even know. It seemed like 30 minutes.
And she can't do anything about how low ranked she is. She's trying her best.
We haven't even heard her talk about it, have we?
No, I don't think so. Other than acknowledging what Nobara was saying to Itadori, you know?
Yeah.
Like, she's such a badass, dude. I think one of, if not, like, top 2-3 favorite characters in the series.
Definitely.
I like Mai a lot, too, honestly, after this episode.
I did not like Mai when we first met her.
Same with Toto.
I didn't like Toto either, you're
Yeah.
right. I didn't like either of them. Mai hasn't, like, completely reached the level Toto has for me.
Oh, for sure.
And that's probably because I'm still, like...
Toto seemingly has been redeemed. Mai hasn't, but I love her.
Because she still said, I hate you at the end, and I'm like...
But I
why-
love her character.
I know. But I'm like, why couldn't she have been like, I hate how much I love you? You know, that would have been better.
What do you think the
than
first
just
love
being
thing's
like,
about?
Huh?
What do you think the first love thing is about?
What?
I don't know the answer.
It must have been a big deal for her to bring that up in one of the main
Is it
reasons she
Maki?
hates Maki.
Is that a thing? Like, I
Well,
know
like-
they're twins. I just don't know.
I think it would be like first love. Like that's
Yeah.
the person you. I mean, think about it. If you're in that family, I'm sure Maki was the really only person who gave affection to her.
Yeah.
So they only really had each other. I mean, Momo even brings up that Mai was raised with no affection.
Yeah.
So Maki was probably that only source of happiness and affection and love. Oh, poor Mai.
It's such a good, it's a compelling story, right?
Because they had each other to lean on in that situation, and then Maki left.
For her, with good
with
reason,
good
but it's so
reason.
like,
Oh.
I hope we see more of them.
Yep.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode with us. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.
Oh, poor Mai.
It's such a good, it's a compelling story, right?
Because they had each other to lean on in that situation, and then Maki left.
For her, with good
with
reason,
good
but it's so
reason.
like,
Oh, poor Mai.
it's such a good, it's a compelling story, right?
Because they had each other to lean on in that situation, and then Maki left.
For her, with good
with
reason,
good
but it's so
reason.
like,
Oh.